Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome back to Football Worldwide and to episode 12 of European Weekly Catch Up. That's right, episode 12. I am your host, Jonathan, as always, with my beautiful co host, Bruno. How are you this evening, buddy?
I am great. And how good is it having domestic football back? And what a weekend it was. But before we do get into that, guys, for your convenience, we have timestamps in all of our videos here at European Weekly Catch Up. So if you don't want to hear about anything other than the Bundesliga, you could just click Bundesliga. It will take you straight to that section. So we've put that in for your convenience. Tell us if you like it. Let us know. And don't forget to like and subscribe. But Jonathan, last week's episode 11 with Michelle Escobar. How good was it?
Guys, if you haven't checked it out, make sure you go to last week's, which was episode 11 with Michelle Escobar. She is, if you're not aware of who she is a journalist for Optus Sports here in Australia. She's doing great things there, and it was just an amazing chat that we had with her. So be sure to check it out. But on further ado, Bruno, what do we got happening on this episode tonight?
Yeah, what a great episode it was, but we got to keep moving forward here. So we will be covering match day 8 of the EPL Serie A. La Liga will be covering match day 9. The Bundesliga match day 8, as well as a match day 10 review of Ligue around the grounds, ones to watch. And like always, don't forget to like and subscribe.
Guys, going into our first one, and as always, is the English Premier League. Bruno, why don't you take us through the fixtures and results from last weekend's?
Yes, so before I do get into that, guys, normally you will have a nice graphic up. We've had some technical difficulties at the moment, and we will be hopefully have them back up by next episode. So you'll be seeing more of our beautiful faces. But the weekend kicked off with Watford getting belted by Liverpool 5-0. We will definitely go more in depth into that. Aston Villa, they struggled against the Wolves, losing 3-2. Leicester, they were too strong at home against Manchester United, 4-2 there. Man City did what they had to do and got the 2-0 win there. Norwich and Brighton, it was a 0-0 draw. Southampton defeated Leeds 1-0. Brentford, well, they didn't get any points against Chelsea in a 1-0 loss there, but we will talk more about that. Everton lost to West Ham 1-0. Newcastle and Tottenham, what a 5-goal thriller that was. It was a 3-2 win to Tottenham there. Arsenal and Crystal Palace, the result 2-2 wasn't the final talking point. Before we go into the main fixtures, was it a red card, Jonathan?
For
Saka. Against Saka, the tackle.
Yeah. To me,
look,
definitely, yeah.
I don't know how VAR didn't get involved and intervene there, but, well, Jonathan, let's go to the first match of the weekend. 5-0, Liverpool defeated Watford. Mane finally breaks his goal scoring drought and gets his 100th goal. But the story of the night was Mo Salah.
He's got to go down to, in my opinion, probably the best footballer in the world at the moment. He's on some form. You could only relate it to Ronaldo, Messi form in their prime type thing. The way that he's playing, that goal that he scored, going through 3 or 4 defenders to put that ball in, it was almost as good as the one he did a couple of weeks ago against your team, Man City, mate, to be honest. So, look, he's just got the ball on the string, and credit to him. He's just on fire.
Yeah, look, it was a great dominant team performance. Firmino, he ended up getting the hat trick, but the story of the night was Salah, and even the commentary team was saying, look, we said last match day he scored the goal of the season against City, and he just went and did something 10 times better this time round. They were comfortable. There's not really much more to say in regards to this. Klopp had the luxury of taking some players off. They do have Champions League this week. I think it's against Atletico Madrid. So, you want to go into that fixture nice and well rested. So, look, I think Liverpool getting the job done. It was written. You couldn't really go against them, especially against Watford. Well, Ranieri's career at Watford didn't start the way many have thought, but there's big issues there, and the team just did not look like they were there to play. A team who did look like they were there to play and were unlucky not to get any points was Brentford. They lost only 1-0 to Chelsea, but my God.
You know what? For a newly promoted team, and I personally didn't know too much about them before this season, and then I'm just doing a bit of homework each week on them. Mate, they're just a team here to play. They're definitely not they're not going to be a 1 year up and then back to relegation, as maybe what some people, and I think myself, had also predicted at the beginning of the season, and credit to them. But you got to say, Mendy, man of the match performance, some of those saves that he put on, in credit to him, and the amount of shots that Brentford put on target.
Yeah, look, I feel the story of the night definitely is Brentford and the way they approached this. And some people said, the defeat of Arsenal was, first game luck. Then 3-3 against Liverpool. Well, questions had to be asked there. But look, in my opinion, they did not deserve to walk away with nothing from this game. But it also solidifies Chelsea and how they've really stepped it up in regards to the way they've structured their team at the moment. And Mendy, man of the match performance by far. And, other questions have to be asked. Is Lukaku that, he's starting to go missing. He hasn't found the back of the net in a while, and questions are going to start being asked.
Yeah, and it's all in good reason too. To be honest, he has gone a little bit missing the last few weeks. That start of the season that he had seems like an age away, to be honest, with everything else that's been happening with them. So in saying that, look, I also feel as well the team's been changed a little bit with formation. Now you got Werner next to Lukaku as well. I don't know if he plays his best with I just don't think he's really 100% adapted back into this team as yet. But time will tell. I think come the end of December and beginning of January type thing, real questions will be asked. And if he's still not firing, then these are all relevant questions, because he should definitely be performing better than what he currently is at the moment. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, 100%, and we'll start to see more of him in the coming weeks and see if he can pick his stride. He did have a full international break, and he was in doubt for this fixture, and he ended up coming back. So good on him. But Premier League match of the round would have to go to Leicester-Manchester United. Manchester United opened the scoring, but Leicester far too dominant, taking it away 4-2. It was 2-2 for a point there, but my gosh, we've said it over and over again, and I feel like a broken record. Ole at the wheel of a Ferrari, but he's Donkey Kong. He doesn't know what he's doing. And, credit to Brendan Rodgers getting the team right, but I think the story coming out of this isn't about 3 points Leicester got. It's about the 3 points that Manchester United didn't.
And, we thought Cristiano Ronaldo back into this squad, the signings that were made in the offseason, Sancho, Varane, Pogba already there as well. Like, this team should be almost title contention for what's, we mention it week in, week out. If this team would, if the games were won on paper, this team would be more than enough to be pushing it with the likes of Chelsea and Man City. Now, my biggest this is how I see it, right? Let's rewind in the off-season. Jordan Sancho was the hottest property from Borussia Dortmund. Man United paid an astronomical fee. Surely he hasn't forgotten how to dribble. He hasn't forgotten how to pass. But you put him into this Man United system, and he's got absolutely no idea what's going on. He is a headless chook. Now, in saying that, you look at the pattern of play that Man United, there's no pattern. There's no structure. It's a bunch of individuals put together, and they literally have no idea whatsoever as to what to do. And the only reason why they get any type of points or results, Bruno, is because of the individual brilliance is what they have in the squad.
Look, I feel there's no stability. There's no stability within this team. He's chopping, he's changing, he's putting Ronaldo on the bench. There's a lot of questions that, if you had one-on-one with Ole, you'd be able to ask and you'd love to pick his brain. But I feel one of the key factors is stability. Now, you look at Manchester United, Manchester City, Chelsea, and Liverpool. They've got a fair bit of stability within their team. So, look, I think it's not the last time we'll be talking about this. So, I feel let's leave it there and let's move on to our favourite league, the Serie A.
So, yeah, moving on to the Serie A and bringing up, this was match day 8 for this one. And the results were, starting from the top, Spezia defeated Salernitana 2-1. Lazio got the points after, going down in the first half 3-1. They got the points over Inter Milan 3-1. Milan came back from behind to beat Verona 3-2. Cagliari got the points over Sampdoria 3-1. Atalanta got the win over Empoli 4-1. Genoa and Sassuolo played a 2-2 draw. Bologna and Udinese played a 1-1 draw. Napoli still perfect at the top of the ladder, and G's are on fire. 8 out of 8 wins and a 1-0 win over Torino. Juventus, 6 wins out of 6 games, even now what little friendly that they played in the international break. So 1-0 win over Roma, and Venezia and Fiorentina. Venezia winning over Fiorentina 1-0. Bruno, I'd like to take you to our team first, and what a dismal performance it was. But was it Lazio 3-1 over Inter Milan? Mate, break it down for us. What happened here?
Look, there were 2 penalties awarded and 2 very soft penalties. But at the same time, I say if it happens anywhere else on the pitch, are you going to blow a foul? If so, it's a penalty. VAR reviewed, allowed it to go through. Then you had the drama of the ball not being kicked out. So Di Marco was down and Inter played on, took the shot. Then Reina threw the ball out and proceeded to Lazio then proceeded to score. Unsportsmanlike, definitely. Bunch of grubs, 100%. But at the end of the day, you need to have a look at the way it went. Now, Inter didn't kick the ball out. They continued their attack. But at the same time, the ball was past Di Marco. You're not going to turn around and make sure none of your players are standing up, down on the ground. Then they literally ran the ball past him on the floor. You gotta ask questions. Now, I don't want to go too deep into it because it's not against the rules. They didn't break any rules. Should they have kicked it out? Yeah, most probably they should have. But there's a salty taste in a lot of Inter fans' mouths, and initially there was one in mine as well. But if it happened the other way, you'd be a bit salty with your own team for proceeding to play like that. But it's not against the rules. So essentially, they capitalized on that, and then Inter, they didn't recover, and they went from 2-1 down to 3-1 down. Did I think Inter was going to win this? No, personally, I put money against Inter to win this because essentially they had too much going against them going into this fixture. Yeah. All of their players played on international break, and they were expected to back up. Now, Argentina played, I think, just over 30-something hours prior to this fixture. Martinez, Correa, all of our South Americans got on a plane, came back, didn't train with the squad, went straight to the stadium to play. It brings up the question, international break. But that's the way the cookie crumbles. When you're such a successful team, you're going to have your best players missing when it comes to international break. But, Jonathan, when it came to the red card after the whistle, come on.
Luis Felipe being sent off after full time, jumping on Correa's back, acting like an absolute goose, rubbing it with salt into the wounds just after a highly emotional and energy-filled game. It not just being an Inter fan, but the way they carried on, and I know they were ex-teammates and all that type of stuff. And yes, there was probably a bit of banter before and all of that. But to have the drama that happened, that resulted into the second goal, and then them scoring, Milinkovic Savic scoring that header to put it to 3-1. To me, it was very much over the top. And, it was a red card after the final whistle. So there's no hamper to the actual result itself. But it's, look at him. He's off next week. He's out of next week's game for being an absolute goose. For what reason? 2 games.
Yeah. Straight red. Straight red. But the question, you need to read the room. Now, 100%. If it was a 1-0 draw or, the tensions were really high. And he came out on Instagram. He said, look, it was stupid. But he also shared a bunch of photos of him and Korea. I understand that. But at the end of the day, you're playing a competitive sport. And the room itself, tensions were high. Did he deserve a red card? 1,000%.
Yeah.
You don't do that. You go up after a game and you shake the guy's hand. You have a conversation. But it looks bad on Luis Felipe simply because he didn't actually, he jumped. It looked like he was rubbing it in. And it also takes away from the fact that user opponents. This game, you're going to war. You're no longer teammates. So you got to drop that sort of aspect. But look, it's not a harsh red card, very well deservedly. But at the same time, you have a team with such high tensions. If it happened after a game where the tensions weren't so high, I don't think the referees would have been drawn to the attention of it. But when you said players rushing in. Anyway, from one side of Milan to the other.
Just one more thing. Obviously, the fact that, Inzaghi coming back to his old team, he spent 22 years with Lazio as a player and manager as well, puts another spice into the mix that, there was a lot of tension and a lot on this game. But yes, moving on to the next game, the red side of Milan, 3-2. They're going down 2 over Verona. Mate, they were down 2-0 in 22 minutes. Hellas Verona had come out firing and playing well. But Milan.
Look, Hellas Verona are a fantastic team. And a lot of times when you go 2-0 up against the team, you expect the game be game, set, and match, especially after 22 minutes. I just feel they lacked maturity. And they let Milan back into this. And all credit to Hellas for getting 2-0 up, but a game lasts 90 minutes, not 25. So you got to play for the full 90, and you got to give all credit to AC Milan. They held their composure, and they came back. They scored the 3 goals and got the 3 points. And ultimately, they're still undefeated in the league. So essentially, you're looking at a fantastic squad here who really know how to set it up. And I think it's great motivation moving into Champions League this week, where they get the easier of the teams that they've got to face. So they'll be able to have that momentum and finally, hopefully, get 3 points on the board.
Yeah, no, definitely. And Giroud getting back on the scoreboard after spending some time out as well. Credit to him. Still got the prowess, and he's still got the thing. He's still got that striker ability. Class does not leave players like himself, Ibrahimovic, and these other class strikers that are just timeless and ageless. They'll keep putting the ball on the net in the back of the net whenever they're on the pitch. But going from there to a team that's made 6 wins in a row, that's including a friendly that they played during international break. Juventus 1-0 over Roma. Mate, what happened? They've come back firing, Juventus. Still scrappy game, but could have definitely went the other way this one, isn't it? Couldn't it?
Oh, look, definitely 100% could have went the complete other direction. And look, Juventus made a name for themselves when they won 9 titles in a row. So ultimately, you're looking at their squad that knows what winning's like. So essentially, credit to Juventus. Szczesny has been highly criticised this season. So he stepped up. He saved the penalty. He had some great saves. Zaniolo did go down injured early in the game. isn't what they first expected. So
Yeah, correct.
he's fine.
It's nothing too serious. Bit of knee ligament strain, but yeah, nothing too bad.
Yeah. So their key player will be returning quite quickly. So look, essentially, fantastic game. Roma didn't deserve to lose all 3 points, but at the same time, Juventus, they did everything right. At the end of the day, they got what needed to be done, and they got the 3 points, and they're starting to climb the ladder. So that shaky start at the beginning is starting to disappear. So I think that's all we've got for the Serie A this week. Let's move on
Definitely.
to La Liga.
Moving on to the La Liga, mate. This was match day 9, and there were 2 postponed matches due to the South American players not coming back. So, going from the top, Levante and Getafe playing a 0-0 draw. Real Sociedad beating Mallorca 1-0, putting Real Sociedad on top of the ladder at the moment. Granada Atletico was postponed. Real Madrid Athletic Club was postponed. Vallecano and Elche. Vallecano got 2-1 up over Elche. Sevilla getting a 1-0 win over Celta Vigo. Osasuna getting a 2-1 win over Villarreal. Barcelona coming back to life, 3-1 over Valencia. Real Betis 1-0 over Alvarez, and Espanyol getting a 2-0 win over Cadiz. Bruno, got to talk about Barcelona first, mate. Aguero making his debut finally for Barcelona, even if it was only for the 85th minute or so. But Fati, what a player. This kid's got a huge future in front of him, and very much deservedly so, to be wearing the number 10 on the back of his shirt.
Yeah, no, definitely. And all credit to him. Essentially, he has performed extremely well for this club. Valencia, going into the game, they drew their last 2 and then lost the 2 prior to that. So they didn't have the best of form either. But yes, Fati, he stepped up, he scored, he got the goal. The pay on the score sheet, and Coutinho, another name that was on the score sheet. Is it the turning point for Barcelona? I don't think so. Essentially, I do feel that problems are deep-rooted within this squad, and it's out of the squad's hands. I don't feel the squad can do anything about it because it's all back-end staff and issues there. Overall, it is good to see them. Barcelona and Valencia were on equal points going into this fixture, so Barcelona did take off with that one. Aguero came on, had a bit of a run around, but I feel they're just tuning him for the Champions League.
Yeah, and look, it'll be interesting to see the squad that takes place when they do play this week in the Champions League. We'll be able to cover that on the Champions League show at the end of the week as well. But look, it's just good to see him running freely again and all that. He's had spent a very long time on the sideline the past 12 to 18 months. So, good on him for getting back onto the park. But yeah, I'm just hoping that I'm a Barcelona fan by all means, and I don't follow them religiously. I do like them as a club, but I'm just hoping to see that they can actually start performing and put a bit of a, make a bit of a challenge into the rest of this La Liga season. So let's see how they go. Credit to Fati again. Like I said, he's on fire, and him and Depay, as you said, Bruno, that they got a bit of a link-up play between the two. So there's going to be interesting to see how they perform in the season to come. But going from there into the next match that I wanted to mention, Real Sociedad 1 defeated Mallorca 0. Like I said before, this win put Real Sociedad on the top of the La Liga table. Credit to them. They've been like the sleeping giants.
Yeah, look, Real Sociedad by all means are not the worst club in the league. And yeah, they're on top of the La Liga table. You've still got Sevilla, Barcelona, Atletico, and Real Madrid to make up games, big due to postponements throughout the league. But overall, Real Sociedad this season have just stepped it up a notch, and they've gotten the job done. They got a red card very late in the first half, and they still managed to get a goal very late in the second half. Are we, Jonathan, seeing the Spanish version of Lille winning last season?
I don't think so. I really don't. No, I still think, to me, it's Real Madrid or Atleticos to lose. I've actually, I actually think Atletico might, just if they can kind of integrate Griezmann in before the end of this season with him. And João Felix came out and said this week how much he's learnt off Griezmann and Suarez since he's been there. So yeah, no, I think it's out of the two Madrid clubs, to be honest, mate.
Yeah. And look, it wasn't such an exciting week in La Liga with the two big giants not playing this week, but you will catch them all in the Champions League this week. Let's move on to the Bundesliga.
Yep, going into the Bundesliga and covering match day 8. Bruno, tell us the results of what happened.
So Hoffenheim kick-started the week with a 5-0 win over Holm. Dortmund got the job done against Mainz 3-1. Frankfurt, well, they struggled at home against Hertha Berlin, losing 2-1 there. Freiburg and RB Leipzig shared the spoils in a 1-1 draw. Greuther Fürth, well, they struggled against Bochum, losing 1-0 at home. Union Berlin got the job done against Wolfsburg, defeating them 2-0. Mönchengladbach struggled to get all 3 points and got away with 1 point against Stuttgart in a 1-1 draw there. Leverkusen, well, they got absolutely belted by Bayern Munich in a 5-1 win for them. Augsburg and Bielefeld shared the spoils in a 1-1 draw there. But 5-1, Bayern Munich to Leverkusen. I've said it multiple times, Jonathan. This Bayern Munich team, they're dangerous because they put their foot on your throat and they just keep on applying pressure. Simple as that. Now, this game, they stopped applying pressure at halftime. They were up 5-0 at halftime, and they're like, well, we've got Champions League this week. So, Lewandowski came off, I think, in the 65th minute. It was the 65th minute he came off, as well as Müller. So, excuse me. This team scored 5 goals within 38 minutes. And it's against no walkover, to say the least. Leverkusen are the worst team in the league. So I mentioned it last week in the episode with Michelle, but I feel this team can win the Champions League, Jonathan.
This was the game where, and to put it into perspective, I'm pretty sure this was the manager was from
RB Leipzig.
Yes, he was from RB Leipzig, as well as some of the other players that they got from them. Now, the point I wanted to make was RB Leipzig last year was an attacking machine, scoring goals like there's no tomorrow. And this manager I can't pronounce his name, unfortunately, guys, sorry. But he is known for that in regards to his high press and all of that. But it was getting to a point where it came at the end of last season, RB Leipzig had kind of ran out of steam. Now, the whole point I'm making is they're up 5-0 at halftime, like you just mentioned, Bruno. And then they knew, we don't need to press anymore. We're not going to lose from here. So let's just do what we need to do and run out the second half, which is what they did. Look at all the changes that they made, early. A lot of their known players and big name players had come off because they got Champions League this week. They are probably the most dangerous team in Europe at the moment, I would say, in regards to front to back, the fact that they know how to apply the pressure and then take it back off when they need to. I don't think I've seen a team control a game so dominantly like they actually do at the flick of a switch.
Yeah, look, I think this Bayern Munich team, you touched on the manager and how RB Leipzig burned out last season. Well, this Bayern Munich team, they don't burn out. This team is used to playing probably the most games in the German league across all their competitions. They generally play more than any other team within the league, from Champions League to their domestic cup to their domestic league itself. So you're not going to see any burnout. And I just feel you're looking at a fantastic team, one of the all-time great teams in the sense of the word, where this team will challenge any team across not just Europe but the world. So, look, I feel they're probably going to win this league, and they've got a good chance for this Champions League. Bless you. But their nearest
Thank you.
contender Borussia Dortmund. So let's move into Borussia Dortmund. They defeated Mainz 3-1. But, mate, Haaland.
Couple of weeks off, back after missing 3 games of a thigh injury. He actually missed the international break too for his country as well. Scores a brace. Thank you very much. He didn't look like he was out of shape by any means. And I'm really happy to see Marco Reus getting a beautiful goal as well. He's a personal favorite of mine. I'm a big fan of his personally. But yeah, look who's at the top of the scoring chart. Lewandowski and Haaland, and credit to both of them. Like they just can't stop scoring. Is it a 2-horse race, Bruno, between these two, or do you think it's going to be
Haaland has the higher consistency, and Haaland will go a game where he can get 3-4 goals, and he'll continue that for weeks on end. Whereas Lewandowski will score 3, and then he could take a break. But I do feel both these strikers in the same league is amazing just to see. And Lewandowski this season's really picked it up, but you'll notice that he's taken a step back from his attack, and he's moving more to assist his team. So overall, I do feel it is a 2-horse race, but I think Haaland does have the edge over Lewandowski. Going back to Dortmund with Haaland, they're unstoppable, and they face Ajax this week in the Champions League, which I feel will probably be much more engaging fixture than a lot of people do think.
Yeah.
And you know what? It will be fantastic to see how it goes, and we'll cover that in the Champions League show. But look, I think these two teams are probably the only two teams we really needed to talk about this week because there wasn't much else going on in the league. So let's move on to France.
Yep, in Ligue 1, Bruno, if you want to bring up match day 10. Mate, 10 already, far out. They're flying through it.
Ligue 1 started early, and they also had a midweek fixture as well. So they've really kicked it off this season. So we started with PSG getting the job done against Agnes 2-1 without some of their stars. Clermont-Foot winning against champs Lille 1-0, and we will definitely love to talk about that, but we're not going to go more in depth. But Clermont-Foot getting the job done. I love to see it. I'm going to see if I can find the Clermont-Foot jersey to wear on stream one day.
Who doesn't love an underdog story, especially us?
We love it. Brentford, Clermont-Foot, keep it coming. Lyon, they defeated Monaco 2-0. Troyes got the job done against Nice 1-0 there. Bordeaux, Nantes, Brest and Reims all shared the spoils in 1-1 draws there. Metz and Rennes walked away 3-0 winners after that one there. Strasbourg defeated Saint-Étienne 5-1. Montpellier, they were too good for Lens, winning 1-0. And Marseille got the job done against Lens in a 4-1 defeat. PSG, they were out without a lot of their stars. Who are the main ones, Jonathan? I'm just trying to... I know Messi and Neymar.
Neymar and Di Maria were missing.
Yeah, so Messi, Neymar, Di Maria were missing. They got the job done in an 87th minute penalty. They waited until the end to get it done.
And it was a dubious penalty. They were very lucky to get that. They were saying that... First, they were saying that Icardi had fouled the defender in the box, and then the ball had come up and hit the defender's hand, and the VAR had ruled for the penalty. Play the foul or play the ball. They were very lucky.
Whatever happens first, you should be playing because
I
then the second
agree.
one couldn't be
Yeah,
resulted. But
definitely.
I feel overall this team, even without the likes of those players, should be defeating teams like Anya's comfortably at home. But it's one of those things where we've said it multiple times. And again, we said it last week with Michelle. There are so many superstars in this team, and they need to gel before you start really reaping the rewards.
It's a very
Because,
sorry, Bruno.
continue.
No, it's a very similar aspect to what Man United also go through to some extent. The problem with PSG is that they actually don't have a lot of balance in their squad. They're very front heavy, and then obviously we don't see Messi come back in defense normally, and Icardi on the weekend we've known him in his days. He does not come back to defend whatsoever. He's a poacher in the box. That's all he does. The goal that Agnes had scored, they took it down the right hand touchline, and I can't remember who the player was, but he had some blistering speed, and there was literally 3 defenders coming back for PSG, and they just could not keep up with his pace. Crossed it back across the face against Donnarumma's goal because he was in over the injured Navas. And that was 1-0, easy beat for 1-0. Thank you very much for Agnes. And that was an early goal. And, PSG have actually gone, they're actually, that's the 5th time that they've conceded first this season. So it's very bad for such a top team of what they are. And they're only in match day 10. So, more than half their games they've conceded first. So not good. They've got some problems there.
Look, definitely. And the more you look at it, the worse it starts to get. And Icardi is out on personal leave at the moment. So we're not sure when we'll be seeing the return of him. But a team which was dominant in Marseille, they defeated Lorient 4-1. But what a game it was, Jonathan.
Yeah, Payet doing what he's known for and does best, absolutely controlling that midfield and playing passes into anyone. He had the ball on a string. It's a phrase that I like to use very often, to be honest, but he literally did. He can just ping the ball anywhere to whoever needs it, and credit to him, he's still got that touch.
Yeah, look, he got a couple of assists in there, and they played absolutely phenomenally. But overall, this team is one that I do feel most probably comes second unless you start talking good about them, because your curse on them knocked them off their perch. But yeah, this team with a bit of momentum, they will come probably second with Lyon close by. But look, overall, it's the start they wanted after returning from international break, and they play the Europa League this week. So I think that's a great segue into Around the Grounds, Jonathan.
Definitely.
So Around the Grounds, where we pick a fixture each that is outside of the top 5 domestic leagues. I've already alluded to my pick this week. So Lazio will be taking on Marseille in the Europa League. Lazio defeated Inter this week, as well as Marseille walking away 4-1 winners. I just think it's going to be a fantastic fixture to see these two teams square off against each other. Jonathan, who is your ones to watch?
So I am taking it to the MLS, New York City FC versus DC United. So these two, Bruno, they've actually got a decent history against each other. They've had some fiery matches in the past. So, yeah, definitely one I'm going to be catching. And I don't watch much MLS, but this is one I do actually enjoy watching New York play.
So I can't wait to see your recap next week when we do talk about
Don't worry.
this.
Easy. Done.
All right, let's move on to ones to watch.
And ones to watch this week. That's right. Number 1, ones to watch, Bruno. So keep it down to one match this week. I could not go past one of my favorite fixtures, and one of yours, I know that is as well. But the Derby d'Italia, Inter Milan versus Juventus. the last year's champs versus the years before for the previous 9. It's just, mate, this game is just going to be fire. There's Inter in a bit of a bad patch at the moment. Hopefully they can get up in the Champions League this week. But Juventus finding some form at the moment too. They're starting to get some form, and Allegri seems to starting to be building that team quite nicely. What was yours for this one, Bruno?
So I had 4 and you took one of them from me. So no, look, there are some great fixtures across all of the leagues this week, but the one that I couldn't go past is the El Clasico, Barcelona taking on Real Madrid. Both teams really, they're not. They're a picture of them former selves, but I just feel Barcelona have everything to fight for. Real Madrid, well, they've gotten a bit of an extra break, and they take on Shotgun in the Champions League this week. So they're going to hopefully, get the job done there. And Barcelona, they're looking to get their first win in the Champions League. So overall, that both these teams will turn up for the derby. And a Messi-less El Clasico hasn't happened for a very long time. So will be interesting to see. So look, guys, I think that's a wrap for this week's European Weekly Catch-Up. Don't forget to check out Everything EPL with Mo, Serie A Roundtable with Ant. You've got European Weekly Catch-Up with Jonathan and myself. This week we'll also have a special episode of Football Worldwide Presents In the Spotlight, where we will have a chat with a Newcastle fan and discuss the Newcastle takeover. So we'll see what that means to them as a fan. And it's not a long episode, so be tuned. Make sure to stay tuned to see that one there, as well as the Champions League show. But Jonathan, don't forget to like and subscribe.
I'll see you, mate. You took the words out of my mouth. Guys, lots of fun as always. We love doing this. Make sure you give us a like and subscribe. We're pushing some great numbers with our shows lately, and we can only keep improving if we keep getting the feedback from you guys. So, Bruno, thank you as always. Love you. Thank you for always being my co-host. I always love doing this. And hopefully from the next couple of weeks, guys, you'll be able to see us get some more guests on, and you'll be able to see Bruno and I in the same location together like we did last week. So have a good week. All the best. Love yous. Forza Football Worldwide.
Ciao.